Introduce the cosine trig ratio, slide 3. Solve for the unknown side to the nearest tenth. In this triangle, we have a right angle triangle. We are given an angle of 54 degrees, a side length of x, and another side length of 24. Clearly, we are working with a trigonometric problem. So the first step is to identify the angle that's given and then determine whether we have opposite, adjacent, or hypotenuse sides. So let's identify angle 54, and then we realize that side length x rests along the 54 degree angle and the 90 degree angle, and therefore it must be the adjacent side. So I'm going to label that with a yellow circle to identify it as an adjacent side. Next, we go directly across from the 90 degree angle and recognize that 24 must be the hypotenuse, and we label that with a blue circle. Now in our boxes here with the yellow and blue, I'm going to fill those in with adjacent being x and the hypotenuse being 24 units. So the next step now is to choose a trig ratio. Recall the phrase SOHCAHTOA. In this case, ka, cosine equals the adjacent side divided by the hypotenuse side. So let's record it thus. And now we can substitute the values into the ratio. So replacing the adjacent with the value of x and the hypotenuse with the value of 24, our trig ratio becomes thus. The cosine of 54 is equal to x over 24. Notice that I have used a divide by 1. You'll see why that is so in a few steps. When we cross multiply, it'll be a lot easier to work with that equation this way. Now let's convert the cosine of 54 to a decimal with 4 significant digits. And if you take your calculator, you will get decimal 5878 equals x over 24. And then you cross multiply. And by cross multiplying, you will obtain 1 times x, which is x. And then you have 0.5878 multiplied with 24. And then as your last step, you should get the following as your answer. X should equal 14.1.